All right, good afternoon. I got the directions up here. I'm sending them to you. So I'm looking at both at the same time. So, hope all is well. Let's go ahead and get started. Rules for long. The super trend is green. All right. So, we got that there. Next, the previous candle is red. So, we don't get anything. We don't do any trades until we get a red candle. So, we got one. All right. Next. Okay, so all we know is that the next candle is going to open at the blue line. Okay, so that's it. That's all we know. If the All right, so we know it's going to open. The next candle is going to open here. Now, if we get the criteria, we know two things. We know the take profit is going to be there, and we know the stop loss is going to be here. So this we don't know what's going to happen with this next candle. But the take profit is going to be the open of this current candle. The stop loss is going to be the low of this candle. And we still don't have a trade because the trade is not initiated until price retraces, comes up, and hits the. Now I'm just gonna say that this is the 25% mark, like whatever. But in the settings, I need to be able to define: do I want it to be 5%, 10%, 50%, 90%? So I want to be able to adjust that. So for right now, we're going to say, I don't know, that's 25%, rough estimate. All right, hold on. All right, let's let this candle go. Okay. All right, we never got into this trade. All right, price never reached up to the 25 or the 50% or whatever line. It never got there. So we never even entered this trade. So we go to the next one because this candle meets the criteria. Hold on. All right, so we know that the candle is gonna, we don't know what's going on with this next candle, but we do know it's gonna open here. If it's gonna retrace, say 50%, then we'll get into the trade. We know the take profit will be the open of that candle, and the stop loss will be the low of this candle. So let's see what it does. Now, for testing purposes, since it hit take profit and it hit stop loss, just check for stop loss first. All right, we'll just assume that it lost, but when I run it live, then I'll get a better picture. Okay. All right. So let's say that would have won, but that's not a good trade. Okay. That's definitely not a good trade. Let me see. We got entry. 1 second. Okay. So here's the take profit tool. So what this had a ratio of 0.13%. All right. I don't want that. Here's what I need to happen. I want to choose the ratio. You actually made this one a while ago. See, I can put the ratio of a 1.1, or just a 1, or 2, or 3, or 0.5, or I can set the ratio. So what would happen is, if, okay, so you made that, you know what it is. Get that out the way. So if this trade meets the ratio criteria, then it can be entered. If not, let's say it is this, which is a 0.13, then the script would ignore it. Okay, so this trade would not have happened. So let's find one that it would. Let's try this one. 1 second. Okay, let's try this one. Stop loss would be there. Entry would be, I would say 50%. Oops. No, we know the trade is going to start. The next candle will start there. We know if it retraces, let's say 50%, and we know this will be the take profit. Let's let it run. All right, so if I set it at a 0.3 or better, then I would take this trade. I don't think I would want this trade, but just for example, that's the trade. Let's see if it hits. Yeah, it did. All right, price came up to this mark, hit take profit, and that was it. All right, this one might look a little better. All right, this one is a 1.18. Let's let it run. And yeah, it hit, so it did not hit take profit. Well, yes, it would. It would have hit there, but that's fine. This is a really great setup here. It's a 1.5, so let's see what happens. All right, that hit, and we can see it didn't hit the stop loss. But like I said, just calculate the stop loss being hit first, and then I'll make my own analysis. Okay, that's actually it. Oh, one last thing. I would love to be able to ignore these candles, the dojis that are like super. See, it's hard to go 25%, and that's like maybe 2 pips, right? Like this one here. Uh, I don't know, maybe a setting so I can define how big I want the body to be, because that's not a doji, but this is actually pretty small as well. But then it might get filtered out anyway. Hold on. I guess you can leave it like, see, because like even with a super doji, something like this, the risk to reward ratio is going to be so small that it's going to get filtered out anyway. See, here's another one. This red one, super thin. This one, super thin. But then again, I really think the ratio would catch these. Okay, so right here we're bearish. So yeah, this is a this is one, but it's super thin. It's a doji, I believe. All right, that is it. Thank you very much.